1999, and poetry had been alive and well in Nashville. Windows on the Cumberland had been going on. The Kijiji down on Jefferson Street was a happening place. Sir Pizza, poetry readings at Sir Pizza, man. There were poetry readings all over, and then things kind of imploded, and I really have appreciated the exploding part of there's so many more poetry readings going on now in Nashville than 15 years ago, and it's really a relief and a great thing to be a part of all of this. I want to thank everybody for making the effort on a really nice, beautiful evening to come on out and be a part of this. Some of you know I like to read other people's writing. And in the early 90s, this book, A Wolf in My Heart, was written by kids that I worked with. I used to teach, imagine that. And I was looking through this the other day, and the first poem is written by a woman who now lives in Mexico, Elizabeth. In my heart, there is my real mom. There is sunshine of Cinco de Mayo, rabbits jumping dogs in LA, cats following hawks. In my heart, there is my dad in Halloween or in LA eating watermelon or eating peaches. In my heart, there is my stepmom putting on a dress for Halloween. There are ravens eating peaches and watermelon in the rain. Elizabeth's poem. She was in 4th grade. She was my student for 3 years, and thanks to Facebook, we're still friends. And on the other page, I was reading this tonight, and this goes out to Honest. My life as a rabbit. I'm a punk rock rabbit, and I cruise the streets on my hot green Kawasaki motorcycle, running over people's carrots gardens and chowing down while I listen to punk rock with the volume on 20. Sometimes the farmer's wife hears the noise and she shoots at me with the 10 gauge, and that is when I speed away on my motorbike back to my house listening to punk rock music. I'll do one of my own now.
You sound just like you have like Patti Smith's voice.
Gloria. Jesus died for somebody's sins, but not mine. Okay, folks, there's a not-for-profit up the way, Nashville Jazz Workshop. They teach jazz classes. They have a venue there at the Jazz Cave. It's a fallout shelter. It's a really great place. And in 2002, they did a jazz poetry class. And I said, okay, I can do a little of that. And so I wrote this poem. And it's a true story. It's my shallow jazz roots. Jazz oboist is an oxymoron, the purist scolded. But I'd heard about this cat from Oregon, Dana. He was playing some fusion with Spyro Gyra, but the voice of jazz reason anointed my head with a worn neck strap attached to the high school's used tenor saxophone. My fingers went from trilling F-sharp on a Baroque chart penned by Joseph Haydn to popping mother-of-pearl pads playing Stuck on You. Not to mention the more important lesson, the proper tonguing technique on the chorus of Night Train. My embouchure went from the dainty, delicate double reed to a thicker, rounder, fill up your mouthpiece grip that Christine Hall, men commented about it later. My first day at the university, my jazz instructor asked, "Baby, do you swing?" And I said, "Yeah, know how to play." That conductor suffered the aftermath of not asking the follow-up question, "How well?" It's true. And those of you who don't know it, Clark Terry's coming up in this poem. And Clark Terry used to be the Tonight Show band leader before Johnny Carson. And he had this style of jazz playing with the staccato coronet. Man, and so my embouchure with the Danny Della men commented about it later. Oh, I don't know if it was ignorance or innocence when through the cacophony of a college cocktail party, I queried Clark Terry, which instrument do you play? And I learned the truth from the master himself, and this is true too, Dizzy Gillespie, when he refused to baptize me. He was at the Catholic College Gonzaga giving a speech about being a Baha'i when he bent over and banned me with jazz musicians. See, they can play classical. Classical musicians cannot play jazz. The wisdom of his wisdom dampened my endeavor to practice my tenor, but this voice that remained, it kept calling me. You listen to my refrain. So I was nearly 21 years old the month of July. I switched off the stagnant summer swelter and stepped into the record exchange. I was flipping the discs and reading between the liner notes, and there it was, Coltrane, the album. It read Coltrane, and I could listen to the man. He only cost $1. I walked up to the counter. The owner sat reading his newspaper. He smiled. And in my basement apartment with the lights dimmed, I proceeded with the ritual inspection, and I cleaned the vinyl real good, Dana, like you do, on a groove. And I sat back with a juice glass full of red. Oh, wait. I dropped the needle. Remember dropping the needle on an LP? I dropped the needle, sat back with a juice glass full of red screw-top on, listening to the sax legend, Coltrane, John Coltrane. Dude, can I give you my first impression? He played like a steam locomotive, packed with black coal on the trucks, and he was ready to burn, in position for an improvisation, and then he was at it for a collision, and the hard-blowing notes, it was infusion, and somehow, he pulled it out in the very end.